This one came highly recommended from you all in my reaction to Good Luck Babe. I appreciate the recommendations. This is Chappell Roan's Tiny Desk performance, and in particular, this is the one song Picture You from it. I haven't heard this yet. This is first listen. My name's Tim. I'm a vocal instructor. I've been doing this for about 24 years. I do this for a living, breaking down singing for people. Here's my website. I teach around the Manhattan tri-state area. Subscribe, click the little notification to stay up to date. All right, I'm going to jump right in.
Picture you. Okay, you guys.
She's got like comedic timing here. This is funny. I love the strings.
Draw the blinds, light every candle, slip off my pretty dress, down my chest when I think of you. Every night, both lips on the mirror, it's ritualistic. Counting lipstick stains where you should be. Oh, I need you around, getting close now. Do you picture me? I picture you right in the frame from your point of view. Too scared to say half of the things I do when I picture you. So tell me now, all your perversions. Am I doing research in a miniskirt at the library? Picture me like I picture you, right in the frame, your point of view. Do you feel the same? Too scared to say half of the things I do when I picture you. When I picture you. Do you picture me like I picture you? Am I in the frame from your point of view? Do you feel the same? I'm too scared to say half of the things I do when I picture you.
Goosebumps. Wow. Chappell Roan is something else. My God. So there was a lot going through my mind. I wish I could just USB my head to the computer and just download the transcription of everything that was going through my head watching that. That was fascinating. That moment when she's doing the little yodely thing in the bridge and flipping up, that was so cool. The overall context and meaning of the song of like kind of an intimate song talking about touching yourself and thinking about someone else, and maybe it's an unrequited love that's not reciprocated. I think that's kind of something like that I was picking up from the meaning. She writes such provocative concepts and turns them into interesting emotional things. Like, this is a pretty provocative thing to sing about, but she's doing it in a genuine emotional way. She's not just doing it for the shock value of what she's talking about, if what I think she's talking about is what she's talking about. This was fantastic. I'm going to go back and break down some of the things she was doing vocally now. There's a lot of interesting vocal things going on, and I'm excited especially to talk about what's happening in the bridge. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Draw the blinds, light every candle.
Notice how understated her singing is right now. Notice how minimal her mouth movement is. Notice how quiet her sound is. What she's doing right now is she's pulling us into her. She's a master of this. She's amazing at creating these very intimate moments, pulling us in, getting us to lean into her, and then at some moment in the song, turning it around, putting her heel in our chest and driving us back in our seat and getting us to go, whoa. She is so good at controlling our attention. Listen to that tone. So she's got a little bit of scratchiness in the tone. We get that through what are called false vocal folds. We activate them. She's doing that type of a thing. She's also allowing a relatively high amount of airflow through the tone right now, which gives it this dreamy, sort of sexy intimacy. Let's see how she changes her tone later on.
Slip off my pretty dress, down my chest, when I think of you.
I love these little slidey things she does. It's almost like a throwback country singer. When I think of you. Very interesting vocal choices that she takes. She has a lot of artistic courage. Artistic courage gives you the permission to do weird vocal things. Sometimes when we don't have artistic courage, we play it safe too much. We auto-tune too much. We try to make it perfect, and we don't allow our spontaneous, creative human expression to come through. Chappell Roan does.
Every night, both lips on the mirror.
Notice how the phrases are starting with a little more bite, a little more brass in her tone. Then as she gets to the end of the phrase, there's a little more air allowance into the tone.
Down my chest when I think of you.
Did you hear that? Brassy then windy.
Every night, both lips on the mirror.
Notice how much airflow is in her tone. This is a big part of being a contemporary commercial music singer. And this is one of the biggest lines in the sand that you draw when singing musical theater versus contemporary commercial music. If you don't have a little bit of that hissiness in your voice, you sound like a musical theater singer. That sound is called auditory roughness in the world of voice pedagogy.
It's ritualistic, counting lipstick.
Hear it?
Stains where you should be.
She does a lot of yodeling things. She's big on yodeling. I think that may be one of her biggest paintbrushes that makes her unique. All that flipping around that she does with her voice. It's so cool. And I love how in this song later on she leans into it. I think this may be why you all recommended this, because I was pretty blown away by her yodel flipping in Good Luck Babe, and I think you connected up with that. Notice the tone quality change right here. Her voice got a lot brassier and bitier and angstier. Did you notice how she didn't open her mouth? A lot of times when we get that brassy element in our voice, we want to open our mouth more to accommodate the brassy resonance. It almost gives it a little warmth to temper the brass. But that's not always the choice we want to make, because we want to make vocal choices that support the expression of what we're singing about. And this is a very longing, angsty type of a song. So her keeping her mouth closed while she goes into her brassy voice makes sense here. It just makes it pointed. It makes it sound like there's this longing, like almost like this crying in her tone.
Getting close now.
And I love that harmony. No.
You picture me, I picture you, in the frame from your
Listen to how she's back and forth between brassiness in her tone, or like this sort of bop, 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 this trumpetiness in her tone, then into this warm windiness. She's a master of that flipping back and forth. Hear that? That is so hard to do. It's so hard to be, all of that stuff she's doing there is killer. So good. I love the beat.
Tell me now, all your perversions.
See how small she's keeping her mouth here? Still the same thing. Tell me now. This understated style, if you've seen any of my reactions before of Lana Del Rey or Billie Eilish, this is a very common vocal paintbrush to be using now in contemporary commercial music singing. Having this minimal mouth space, this introspective pull people in. I think about Lizzie McAlpine doing this. I think about Nessa Barrett doing this. This is a really common vocal technical thing to do. And it's very effective. It pulls us in. Okay, we got to talk about this background singer going off here. Oh my God, she's amazing. Do you hear this call and response here? Chappell is singing, and then the background singer is answering with these beautiful wailing head voicey sounds. Wow. Listen for the call and response.
So tell me now, all your perversions.
Woo.
Am I doing research in a miniskirt at the library in your hometown?
These lyrics, oh my God, she's brilliant. Do you hear those subtle little yodels up there? That's her thing. This is like Chappell Roan's thing. She does this so well. These little angsty yodeling up and down. I was talking with my daughter. We were out, and one of her songs came on in Starbucks on our way back from our family trip this weekend. And my daughter was like, you know, I like her, but sometimes she goes a little too far with all of that angsty flipping stuff, you know, but I do like her. So that was what my daughter said. But I like it. I actually think it's really a cool vocal technique. And let's face it, you got to set yourself apart. When things come up and we start experimenting and we're like, wow, I like this. This feels like a part of me. Sometimes you need to lean into it. I have no problem with her leaning into her yodeling stuff here because it's so hard and it's so cool and it makes sense expressively. That's the big thing that you have to think about when you're picking vocal sounds.
Getting close now. Do you picture me like I picture you? Right in the frame, your point of view. Do you feel the same? Too scared to say half of the things I do. Well, I picture you.
So beautiful. Her head voice is beautiful. Here's the thing as a contemporary commercial music singer. When you go up into your head voice, you have to make sure that you still keep a little bit of hissiness in the tone, or it starts to sound a little bit like the musical Wicked. It sounds like musical theater. She does a great job of that here. Notice how it's just a little breathy, a little hissy in that tone. Let's listen back for that again before we get to this wild bridge. Right there. Air sound. Air. Did you hear the air? There was hissy. You've got to have that. Don't get too focused and ringy like that when you're using your head voice in pop singing. Notice how little she's moving her mouth here when she does this yodel stuff. If you move too much, you create too many variables. Kind of like a piano player who's wiggling their fingers way too much when they're playing a scale. Same thing with the voice. You have to keep the voice in a very efficient mouth shape when you're doing complicated, fast things. The faster you go, the less movement you need to have between the things as you're going fast. And she's great at that, of keeping it very, very minimal. And she's just using her thickened voice. It's called thyroarytenoid activation if you want to nerd out in voice pedagogy. And then flipping into her cricothyroid voice, which is and she's a master of controlling that. Notice her pitch accuracy doing this. It's 10 out of 10. It's killer. And this is live. Wow. Notice how she opened up more for the big notes. The brassier she got, there was an opening of the mouth. But notice it wasn't that much. It wasn't like, she wasn't opening like a big power pop note, just a little bit. Even though she does open up sometimes for big power pop notes, but not here. She's so controlled. She has such intuitive connection to what vocal paintbrushes to use at any given moment based on what the expression is asking for. What a brilliant singer.
Do you picture me like I picture you?
Now we're back into the same intimacy that we started with. Very small, very introspective. She's not demonstrating anything. She's just feeling it and letting her face be natural. What great acting.
Am I in the frame from your point of view? Do you feel the same?
Again, that little flipping she's doing. So good.
I'm too scared to say half of the things I do when I picture you.
Oh, wow. Chappell Roan. She's amazing. There is no doubt about it. And I haven't commented on her costuming, and both for her and for her background artist. So cool. She's so styled. She's so thoughtful about her art. She's such an innovator. I'm a big fan of how she's going about making music. At every part of her performing, there's artistry. From the makeup that she wears to the makeup that she has her background artist using. And by the way, I love that it's an all-female background band. That is so cool. I love how creative she is with her lyrics. I love how she's singing about this topic that's a little bit of an intimate topic to make such a big pop song out of, but she does it in such a tasteful way to make it a beautiful, heartfelt song. And this is kind of her thing. Like, she sings about things that kind of grab your attention, but then she makes them real and emotional at the same time. She doesn't just do it for the shock value, and that's what makes her an even higher level of artist in my mind. Her singing is so controlled and so thoughtful. Her pitch accuracy is amazing. She does an incredible job of having tone quality diversity. Her soft singing has the right amount of scratchiness, the right amount of minimalism, the right amount of airflowiness for what this song and this style calls for. When she gets big and brassy, there's a lot of bite in her tone. She's not over opening up her mechanism or creating a lot of space inside, which gives her this ability to really control her voice, to do a lot of those yodeling and flipping around things she does. She has a beautiful head voice. She's not making it too focused or theatrical sounding. She keeps it like a pop singer, even though she does have a decent amount of vibrato that she was letting in when she goes up to those high notes here. Her background singer is killer. She's amazing. I'm so glad that she's there. This is a wonderful performance. I'm going to react to more of these songs from this tiny desk. Thanks for recommending it, and stay tuned for my next Chappell Roan things. And don't forget, again, to go over to the community page as I'm asking for votes on next songs that I do reactions to. I want you Chappell Roanians, what do you call yourselves? Please leave that in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. I'll see you soon.